Thanks for clicking on this video. I hope you get some value out of it. We are live streaming tomorrow, Tuesday, 6 o'clock UK time on the YouTube channel. I'd love to see you there. Put your questions for your Daily Tiger in the comments. Excel files can get very big very quickly, and suddenly they become very difficult to work with, to email. The file takes ages to load up, etc, etc. So why do files get big and how can we avoid them getting so big? We're going to do some videos on that theme this week. Now the first thing is formatting. So in Excel it's best not to format to the end of the row or to the end of the column. We can select the whole row or select the whole column. That doesn't mean we should format to the end. If you format to the end, then you're formatting hundreds, thousands of columns and rows that you don't really want formatted, and that's going to increase the file size and make it more inefficient. So the first thing I recommend you check is formatting, the formatting of your Excel file. Now, if you know some keyboard shortcuts, you can very easily select a column and to the end of the sheet. So check out our keyboard shortcuts video on the YouTube channel. Check the formatting. That's going to help you reduce the size of your Excel file. Why do Excel files suddenly get big and really difficult to work with? Well, yesterday we spoke about formatting being a problem. Another problem is formulae, particularly the ranges that you're using in your formulae. So you want to be thinking, what range does this formula need to point to? And then you don't want to include additional cells in that range. If your formula only needs to include 1,000 rows, you're not going to have more than 1,000 rows of data in the file, then just point it to 1,000 rows. Now again, it's very easy, for example, with a formula to make it point to the whole column, where we have, for example, D:D, it points to the whole column. That's convenient when we're putting the formula in, but it's inconvenient in the long term because it will slow the file down. So think about limiting the range of your formulae as usual. Proper planning about the structure of the file and the layout of sheets is going to help you here. This will help you reduce file size. Now, no matter how good you think your spreadsheet is, I've got some bad news. Your approach is suboptimal. That's because there's no such thing as a perfect implementation. And as you go through your Excel career, you're going to have more and more tools at your disposal, formulae, data analysis techniques, VBA. And as you go through your career, you realize there's multiple different approaches to solve any problem in Excel. And each approach, some are better than others, but they have their pros and cons. So with the people I train, I try to develop this critical perspective. So even your work, like all of my work, has weaknesses. Now, you've got to tell the client what those weaknesses are, what are the limitations in your work. For me, and I'll show you an example here, this is a piece of work I'm doing for a client now. For me, it's things like, can you change sheet names? No. Can you put columns in? No. So make sure you're showing the limitations of your implementation to your customer. We're doing a series of videos this week on why your Excel file has suddenly got really big. We talked previously yesterday, 2 days ago, about formatting, yesterday about formulae. A third thing you've got to look at is kind of hidden objects in the file. Do you have hidden sheets in the file? If you right click on one of the sheet tabs, you can see if there's any hidden sheets. Do you have any hidden objects in the file? You might have hidden charts or shapes in the file. You can do that by going to the selection pane. Just Google Excel selection pane. That's going to allow you to see all of the objects on a particular sheet. So these hidden objects might be increasing the size of the file and decreasing the efficiency. Now, if you want a step-by-step method for going through Excel files and understanding them, understanding complicated files, we've got a video on the YouTube channel called Understand Complicated Excel Files in 3 Steps. That's going to help you really understand Excel files better and improve the efficiency. Good luck. Welcome back to the Vale of Beaver. Now, yesterday, 2 people whom I respect and 2 very good, kind, some of the good guys in business, they said exactly the same thing in 2 different ways, in 2 different forums, completely separate, but they said exactly the same thing. And that thing is, you've got to love the process. You've got to love the process, guys. And I'm sure you'll empathize with this. With me, when I first started the business, I was like, I'll be happy when I get to this many clients. With the YouTube channel, at first I was thinking, I'll be happy when I get to this many subscribers. But those goals are kind of moving goals and they change. And that moment never comes, guys. That moment when you think, it's happened, I'm happy, it never comes. You're always reframing. The way to be happy and the way to do well, love your work, is to love the process of what you're doing. If you don't love the process, someone else is going to outwork you. So learn to love the process. I had a great question yesterday on the YouTube channel, and it's a question I get a lot, which is Excel dying? Is Excel going to die? Now, my answer to this question, which might be kind of obvious, is that I think quite the opposite. It seems to be quite a fashionable view these days that Excel is, people are using other things, or Excel isn't doing the job. My view is predictable, maybe. I take the opposite view to that. I see more and more people using Excel, and I see more and more people appreciating the possibilities of what can be done in Excel if it's used in the right way. If people use all of Excel's functionality, if people use a bit of VBA code, if people set spreadsheets up in the right way. So I think the view is very positive for Excel. In the next few videos, I'm going to deal with some reasons why people think Excel is dying and kind of my take on those. But what do you think? Is Excel dying? Let me know. Now, we're talking about some reasons why people say Excel is dying, and I'm just giving my opinion on the reason. Now, one reason is there's better pieces of software now, better pieces of software to use, and I've used some other pieces of software that are very good, and there's probably some good pieces of software out there. But as always, we've got to look at the bigger picture. How does the kind of productivity software industry actually work? Well, it's dominated by one player, which is Microsoft, and Microsoft has very established distribution channels, good relationships with big companies. There will be massive switching costs anyway for big companies to switch to a different piece of software, to go outside of the Office environment. So whatever we think of Excel, obviously I think it's great, but whatever we think of Excel, the dynamics of the industry mean it's here to stay for some time. What do you think? I'll see you in the next video.